Okay, we're now recording. So again, I'm Dr. Doug Ward, MBA Director of Advising. Miss Lee Schaefer is our Graduate Student Program Support Coordinator. She's going to be co-hosting with me tonight if she can get her technical difficulties resolved. Welcome to the University of Mount Olive. We're so glad that you have chosen to pursue your MBA degree with us, and thank you for joining us tonight. What we want to try to accomplish tonight is to go over how you're going to use some of the UMO databases, what's going to be some of the Moodle basics, that is the delivery platform that we use. Some of you may already be familiar with Moodle, but please bear with us as we go through that. Because we're in the Tillman School of Business, a lot of your writing assignments are going to be an APA style of writing. So we use another external link from Moodle to Turnitin platform, and we use that to check your writing assignment. So we'll talk about some of that. Then we're going to talk about specifically about the Business 500 basics and what you can expect in this first course that you'll be starting in August, and to give you some tips that Miss Lee and I have seen over our time doing this that may provide some assistance to you. But because Miss Lee is having some difficulties, I'm going to jump right into my piece of it, and hopefully she'll get her technical difficulties resolved and get back with us. If not, then I'm going to try my best to cover what she would cover for you, at least walk you through that. So with that being said, let's talk about Business 500. That was one of the first things, let me do this first before I jump into Business 500. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the actual screen itself. So you can see my UMO screen. Okay, so this is typically when you log in or when you go to the UMO web page, you want to click. Let's actually go there so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is our main page that you go to. So we're going to click on My UMO. And when we click into My UMO, we have different screens here that you can launch off into. You can sign into your database here using here, and you can do that to get through some of the self-service and other things. So submit a support ticket if you have an IT issue or need to get your password reset. But for what we're trying to accomplish, we want to go ahead and go to Moodle and MOI Library. But before we go to Moodle, let's go to MOI Library just for a few moments. Miss Jackie Hill puts out a lot of webinars, especially when it comes to doing research and how to cite papers appropriately. So whenever you see an email that comes from her with reference to setting up a webinar, if you have time, that would be a good hour spent in reviewing that with her. And you're going to see that in those webinars that it usually lasts an hour, and it's going to be through the very same platform. But in the MOI Library, up under electronic resources, you'll see all the different databases that's going to be available to you. And if you had, as you got your undergraduate degree, you're probably already familiar with Basco, LexisNexis, ProQuest, and some of those aggregate databases that we all use. And you can see you can get access here to LexisNexis database, which is a good resource to use when you're looking for company-specific information. You can go directly into NC Live from this portal here or from research databases, or you can select the specific database that you want to go to is another option that you have, and you can see they list them in alphabetical order. But the thing I really wanted to show you here on the Moy Library, and as you're waiting for your course to start, up under Help and Instructions, there are research and citation tools and online tutorials. This is a good opportunity for you to spend the afternoon to get familiarized with the Moy Library and what it has to offer. Because again, we're using APA style of writing in the Tillman School of Business. So getting familiar, if it's been a while since you have written in APA style, or if you've never written in APA style, Chicago, MLA, they're all basically the same, where you want to make sure you give credit where credit is due, oversight rather than undersight. But typically the biggest difference between the three is going to be the way you do in-text citations and or references. But this is a great place to spend the afternoon to refresh yourself on scholarly writing, scholarly tone, grammar, things of that nature. Equally important, we have Miss Jackie Hill and the library staff have embedded some tutorial links specifically for you that goes over this same topic that we're talking about, and also a few other external web links that are good, useful information. And one that you will be sent to a lot is going to be the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And this is where you're going to find out the APA style of writing. Again, if you're not familiar with it, or if you just need to refresh yourself, it's got great examples. It goes into a lot of specific details, and it has an example paper that you can look at from this website. So spending some time here, it would be great dividends as you move forward. And even in Business 500, your first initial course, you're going to be jumping in and doing some APA style of writing. So as you're waiting for your course to start, spending some time here, getting familiar with Purdue, spending some time here on the Moy Library website will be great utilization of your time, and I believe will pay great benefits as you move forward throughout the program. But you can get that through Moy Library, and certainly you can go to alpurdue.edu directly. You don't have to do it through our link, but it's there for you as well. So I'm going to assume, I'm letting you know I have already signed in to Moodle, but if I was going to do that, so let me come back here because I wanted to show you how to do that in the event that you haven't done that yet. Back on our web page, I went to my UMO, I came back here, but we went to Moy Library a while ago. Now we're going to Moodle. I click into Moodle, it's going to ask me for my credentials. I have already signed in, so I don't have to sign in again, but I want to show you a developmental shell that we use that you will see when you sign in to your first course of Business 500. The content of all of our Moodle shells are very, very similar. Excuse me, the format is very, very similar. The content is going to be different, as you can imagine, based on the different courses that you're going to take. But all of them will look very similar in format, where they have a general information page, course material page, there's technological services and support, and they'll all be set up in these specific weeks by their specific topics they're going to cover. So you have the option to collapse them and only open up the week that you're interested in, or you can open them all up and see the entire content, whichever you prefer. So with that, now I have a lot more things on this developmental shell that you will not have on your core shell. These things that are kind of like they're light in color, or for me only, you won't have those. You will not have access to those things. But let's talk about the front end of Business 500 just for a moment. Typically what you're going to see is you're going to see the course material. And in the course material, you're going to find your syllabus and any other information that the instructor wants you to know. Equally important, in the syllabus, you're typically going to find the type of textbooks that you're going to need It's going to list the textbook, the author, as well as the ISBN number, so you can get those textbooks ordered so you can have them ready for your courses. Typically, your Moodle shell will open 7 days before your course starts. If I remember correctly, your session starts August 28th, if I remember correctly. So therefore, that's the first day of session D in the fall session, and your Moodle shell should be available to you August 21st. They're typically will open up 7 days before your course starts. Now, if it's not open, or if you open that course shell and all you see is a blank shell with no embedded information, then that professor has not uploaded their content. But if you see that, and if you have a question about the textbook, the syllabus, I'm very confident you can send them an email and they'll be glad to respond to you. Also see this technological service and support link. If you're having any difficulties with your email, with getting into Moodle, or any IT issues with any of the UMO platform, this is the contact information. And as you can see here, they have normal working hours, very limited to no staff on the weekends, at nights, and holidays. So if we require you to change your password every 90 days. So as you come upon that 90-day password, you don't want to wait till a Saturday and change that in the event something was to occur and you lose access, because it may be the next business day or thereafter before you can get back into that. So we recommend that you monitor that and do it earlier rather than later, and try to stay away from a holiday weekend. Equally important, from this point forward, every communication that you have with a professor or with anyone with the University of Mount Olive should be through your UMO email account. You do have that email account now that's been established, so please use that. Recommend you check that often, because typically that will be the primary means that a professor will provide information to you. You'll get information and feedback through your Moodle shell, but email is much quicker. A lot of us have email coming directly to our phones, our smartphones, so we respond relatively quick. So please use your email account for all communications from this point forward. Because we are using Peregrine modules in this Business 500 orientation course, we have some technical support information here. In the event that you're having issues with Peregrine, which is the external website that you want to go to get your Peregrine modules. But if you're having any difficulty with them, this is the contact information. We provide that to you simply for this reason. A professor has no ability to fix anything from a technological standpoint. So if you're having technological issues, these are the folks that you want to contact. But if you are having issues, reach out to your professor, let them know what's going on, so that they can make a different decision about due dates. They may be able to move a due date out, and may be able to provide some assistance that way. So talk to them early and often via email, and if they share any other contact information with you, make sure that you use that as well. And what I'm trying to do here is go to Turnitin, because Turnitin is that other platform that we use externally that if you're not familiar with Turnitin, it's really a program that we use to verify some of your scholarly writing and to help you improve your scholarly writing skills. And as soon as it comes up, what I'm trying to get to here is to show you the student guide, but apparently their website is not working. But if you were to Google Turnitin Quick Start Guide for Students, it will take you to their webpage. And in their webpage, it's going to show you some tutorials as well as how to use Turnitin. Some professors will do a one and done on Turnitin, meaning once you load your paper up that one time, then that's what they're going to grade. Some professors may open the Turnitin where you can upload as many copies of that paper as you desire, and the last one that you load up by the due date will be the one that they're going to grade. Typically, when you do that, it's going to give you a similarity value in a originality report if you've never used Turnitin. And when you get that report, this is kind of what one looks like. If I can pull this over to my screen. This is what an originality report will look like if you were to print it out in a PDF format. And I'm going to show you in the actual Business 500 Moodle shell where you're going to upload an example. This is one that we developed just for this discussion. And what you'll see is that it is really a copy and paste because when we uploaded it for training purposes only, the originality report goes out and Turnitin will go out and it will analyze your submittal against other student submittals from the University of Mount Olive, from other students at other universities, and from websites and aggregate databases that they have in their aggregate database. And they're going to go out and they're going to look for similar words and phrases, strings of similar words and phrases, and when it identifies that, it's going to identify it and it's going to highlight it and it's going to place a numerical value out beside it. And that numerical value, you'll be able to go see the actual source where it came from. And how I like students to use, or excuse me, what I recommend for students to use if the professors is allowing it, is that when you upload your paper, you're going to see that Turnitin is going to say it's pending. And when it's pending, that means it's out there doing it. It's an analyzation. Once that analyzation is done, you're going to be able to have access to the originality report, and that originality report is going to give you a similarity value index. For this particular paper, you can see all this highlighted material because we wanted to show you that with this highlighted material, that's an indication that someone, in this case me, who used this one, and I don't write this way, by the way, just so we're clear, this is just for training purposes only, but this is nothing more than a copy and paste. That's all that is. And that's just unacceptable when it comes to scholarly writing, because the intent of scholarly writing is to review the material, analyze the material, then put it in your own words using your own style of writing. But if I borrow the thoughts and ideas of someone else, regardless, I need to give that person proper credit. And giving them proper credit may mean that I may have a citation in every page, in every sentence. I see a lot of people who wait and do an end of paragraph citation. That's a dangerous habit to get in to do, because now you are forcing the reader of your document to make the assumption that everything up above that paragraph is related to that one citation. And without good transitional wording and phrasing, it may be difficult to do that. So I recommend strongly that you cite everywhere you use facts. You don't have to cite your opinion of fact, but cite where you use facts, even if I have a citation in every sentence in a paragraph. Oversight rather than undercite. But you can see this particular one here is completely a copy and paste. And even if I had used proper citation, if I had a citation out here and I had quotation marks in APA style of writing, it would still come back with a high value index. And I would still say, you need to go fix that, because even though what you did is you demonstrated to me that you understand proper APA citation. But that does not tell me anything, or the next professor, anything about your style of writing, your critical analysis and thinking. Don't do this, please. But as we go on, you can see it's pretty, again, copy and paste. But what I want to show you is the similarity value for this particular paper. %. What that says is that 94% of everything contained in this paper came from all these different sources. The numerical values I was talking about, this is where this is coming from. So based on that, that would say you've got some serious work for this particular paper to go get it fixed. That's why I like to see Turnitin be utilized where I upload a paper on Monday, I get a score like this, I come back on Tuesday after I fixed it, I reload it, and I get another similarity value, index score, good, bad, or indifferent. I may want to reload it again on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I want people to use Turnitin as a tool that you can use to improve your scholarly writing skills. That's how I like to see Turnitin being utilized. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
On the percentage, how would I put this? A paper, when it's completed, even if it has the citation, is there a typical percentage that the professor looks for?
That's a great question. A rule of thumb, a good paper, and I'm talking about not Business 500, because this Business 500 is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to explain that here momentarily. But let's say you're developing a paper from scratch. Having a index value score of 10% or less, it would not be uncommon. Because even if you type in the University of Mount Olive, if you type in the word table of contents, if you type in the word references, more than not, that's going to come back as being highlighted. And that's the type of things that no one gets concerned about. It's really your content that you provided in your own words. If it came back greater than 10% as a rule of thumb, I'd look at it. When I was doing my doctoral dissertation, I was told if it was greater than 5%, you still got more work to do. I was also told when I was doing my doctoral dissertation, if you have one direct quote, you've got one quote too many. They had no interest at all when I was doing my doctoral program to see how well you could direct quote someone else. It was really about developing your style of writing. That's really what it was about. So rule of thumb, 10% or less would be great. Obviously, get it closer to 4 or 5% if you can, but around 10% would be great as a general rule of thumb. For Business 500, let me back up. I'm saying 5 to 7%. That would be a great question that you probably would want to ask that particular professor of that course to see what they're looking for, because their paper may embed instructions that they want you to leave it in that. And if you have instructions that's being left into a paper, then more than not, those instructions are going to come back being highlighted, and it's going to inflate that value index. So always ask your professor what they're looking for. For Business 500, because we are doing just that, I'll give you this example here. In this example here, I am requesting, or the professor will be requesting, that you leave the instructions in the document and you upload that document with your responses back into the appropriate location. For this location, it's going to be here, and Turnitin. But this is an example of one of the responses that you're going to be required to respond to in the Business 500. So all this information that you see here in this document you're going to be filling in your responses here under the explanation after you review these 3 videos. In this example, these are the 3 videos that have active hyperlinks. Then you're going to respond to these 3 questions, and you're going to embed your responses here. All this information here is going to come back being saying that it's from the source document. So having one like this, it would not be uncommon to see this particular paper have a similarity value index higher than 50%. Do not get concerned with that. If the professor tells you to leave the instructions in, please do not leak these instructions. Whenever you upload that paper and you go look at the originality report, focus your eyes here on your explanation. And if you see a lot of highlighted material in your explanation responses, then you may want to go fix that. But this is going to come back highlighted. That will come back highlighted. All of this will come back highlighted as well. That address your question?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. So you have downloaded your Word document, and now you have put in your explanation. You have saved your Word document, and I recommend saving often. Just like, technology crashes. So save often. And then make sure you close the document out before you upload it into Turnitin or back through the Moodle platform. These 2 assignments, we're going to use Turnitin. This particular assignment is just a mathematical expression that you're going to upload the document back in through Moodle. So we're not using Turnitin. If we were to use this assignment and have you upload it back into Turnitin, it would come back anywhere 90 to 95%. That's not our intent here. So make sure you close your document out first, then upload it. And when you upload it, make sure that you go back and you verify that document was received. There's been numerous examples where we get involved in aiding students who got a bad grade on an assignment that said, I uploaded it, but yet I see no evidence of it, and the professor sees no evidence that the actual document was ever received because it leaves a digital footprint. And as a result of that, that particular assignment may get a 0, which doesn't make the professor happy, and it certainly doesn't make you happy either. So please verify, trust but verify, trust the technology, but verify that it actually uploaded. So let's talk about Turnitin. This particular assignment, you have filled it in, you've closed it. Now you get ready to go upload it. And this is what Turnitin is actually going to look like. And if you were enrolled in this course, your names would be populated here, but because this is a developmental shell, no one is enrolled other than myself. But it'll have your name, it'll have the title. It gives you a unique ID number. It'll give the date and the time that it was submitted. And once it has the Turnitin has done its analyzation, it gives you a similarity value score, and it's going to be here, and it's going to be in a percentage. If we were using that other paper, you would see a 94% here, and over here you would see the grade after that professor went in and graded that paper and gave you feedback. But this is how we're going to use Turnitin. This particular setup on this particular example, I have my start date and my post dates different. I typically will set my start date and my post date as the same date, which allows you to upload that paper and immediately see the originality report and the value index once Turnitin gets through with its analyzation of the paper. But again, from this date to this date, they're going to be set the same typically, so that gives you the option to hopefully upload numerous copies. And every time you upload a copy, it overwrites the previous version. That previous version is then permanently deleted within the database. As long as you're submitting papers within this course, then it never goes back and relooks at that particular paper. If I was uploading that paper in my next course, then it would come back and look at that previous course as being a different course, and it would probably come back as being highly similar in content. So you don't want to recycle papers. You don't want to do that. So that's how we're going to use Turnitin. This is how you're going to upload it. And I think what we also did, let's see if this link here will work. Maybe Turnitin is now working for us. This document here goes into detail about how to read and interpret and use the Turnitin report. And hopefully it may, okay, it's not going to work for me either. It may be because I've got, I'm in the, I think I know what it is. I'm in a developmental shell, so it's a little bit different. But again, Google that term, and you should be able to find some very good information about how to use Turnitin, and they have a good tutorial to it as well. Okay, so let's talk about Peregrine modules for a few moments. So let me close out all my weeks, and I'll go back to just week one. In week one, again, all the formats is be the same. The content is going to be different. For this particular course, tells us what we're going to be doing in week. It'll give you the readings, and it'll give you the specific assignments. For every online course at the University of Mount Olive, you're going to have this Wednesday week one attendance and acceptance of the syllabus. Basically, all that is for you to go in and to add a new discussion topic. You're going to copy and paste this statement here, and you're going to insert your name here, and it signifies that you have read, you looked at the course syllabus, and you understand the criterion that we're going to hold you accountable to the course syllabus. And we want you to post a question or a comment about something that you saw in that syllabus that you have a question about, whatever the case may be. Post that here, and that's going to be due Wednesday, typically of week one of every online course that you're going to take with us. Then for this particular week, you're going to have assignment 1A, which basically is an introduction of yourself. Then you're going to respond to 2 other of your classmates by a specific date. But this is the key about Business 500. Business 500 is a leveling course that we have all students coming into the program to go through the Business 500 course. It's really set up as a self-paced type of environment. There's no team assignments. It probably will be the only class that you'll have that's going to be self-paced, and it's really designed to get you acclimated to all the utilization of our databases, utilization of Turnitin, doing discussion forums, practicing some basic fundamental business techniques and improve your knowledge of those business techniques, but equally important, developing developing your APA scholarly writing skills as well. But this will be the only course that you'll take that is truly self-paced. Being self-paced, once we get through the inbound exam piece of it, then you can, once you get the inbound exam results, and I'll give you, or that professor gives you your individualized report, then you can work yourself ahead if you so choose. But the inbound exam, there's 2 ways that you can get this inbound exam. This inbound exam, I think, is if you're using financial aid, then you have to purchase it through the bookstore. And Miss Lee is going to walk us through how to get through the bookstore aspect of it. But if you purchase it from the bookstore, you can use your financial aid. If you're not using financial aid and you're doing out of pocket, then you can use this link to go directly to Peregrine, this link here. And this is my password. This is the same password that you'll use for all the individual modules. But this, what I'm fixing to show you, is what you would do only if I was private paying or paying out of pocket. I would click on this link. I would insert my password, and it's going to show all the business essentials, which is the inbound exam, all the academic leveling modules that you may have to purchase based on the results of this exam. The average has been about 7 to 8. I've had some students who had to purchase all 15, and I've had some who didn't have to purchase any or do any. So it's really going to depend upon your results here. It's not a pass or fail. It's not a certain score. It's just we're going to use these results against the baseline results of your peers who've gone through this program, how well they did generically. And if you're above that threshold, you don't have to take that particular module. If you're below that threshold score, you will have to take that module. But initially, you're going to take the business inbound exam. Based on that, we're going to tell you which one of these you may have to take. Then in week number 7, you're going to have an outbound exam that we're going to want you to take as well. If you need more than 10, then you want to go ahead and register for all 15, because at 10, you get a price break. You get all 15 for the price of 10. If you only need 9, then you can decide if you want to spend the additional $35 to get the other 6, or if you just want to stay with 9. But if you need 10 or more, then we recommend, because of the price break, get all 15. But let's continue on. We're doing the inbound exam first. So you can see I clicked into it. I'm going to proceed with registration. It tells me that once I start, I've got 48 hours and 3 login attempts to get through with this inbound exam. After you get here, and then you see what I have. It's $15. It's $30 if you purchase it from the bookstore using financial aid, $15 if you go directly to Peregrine. I think it's $50 per individual module with the bookstore, and $35 if you purchase it directly from Peregrine. $500 for all 15, $350 with Peregrine. But after I get it, this is what I want. I'm going to proceed with my registration. Now it's going to be looking for my specific information, your student ID number, which you should have, but Miss Lee's going to show you where you can find that if you don't know what that is. You're going to put in your billing information, then they want you to show them the money. Once you show them the money, you're going to review your registration, then you're actually going to submit it, and then they're going to send you an email with the access codes, and then that email with that access codes, you should be able to grant access back into Peregrine to start that exam. But again, what I showed you here was the only way you would do it if you were going to buy it directly from Peregrine. If I was going to buy it from the bookstore, you go through a very similar process that Miss Lee's going to show you momentarily about the bookstore. And this is the instructions that you would follow here if I'm using private pay. Private pay, you're going to buy it from the bookstore. And bear in mind, the bookstore has business hours. So your inbound exam is due by Sunday of week 1. So if you purchase these inbound exams through the bookstore on Friday of week 1, you will not have them in time to complete the inbound exam. You will not get the access keys in time to meet the Sunday deliverable. So if you're going to buy it from the bookstore, buy it much, much earlier in the week, because it usually takes a business day or 2 in order to get that. But once you purchase that, they're going to send you an email, and in that email it's going to have this embedded link or one very similar to it. That link is going to take you back to Peregrine's website, and now you're going to enter in your personal information. Then you're going to enter in this access code just like you see it here. It's a unique code specifically to you that you purchased. Once you enter that code, you hit the word begin, and it's going to take you directly to that particular modules that you purchased. If you purchase just the inbound exam initially, that's the one that's going to pull up. If you purchase all 15, it's going to pull up all 15, or it's going to pull them up. Then you're going to have a drop-down menu that you can go in and choose the ones that you want to complete. So you have two options: private pay, which you go directly to Peregrine using this embedded link with this password. Or if I use financial aid, you're going to use this link that they're going to send you in an email, and you're going to have your unique access code. If you use financial aid, then you can disregard all these active hyperlinks to all these Peregrine module assignments. They will not apply to you. Just use the email with your embedded link from Peregrine, and you should be fine. Any questions? Okay, do not buy, after you purchase your inbound exam and complete that inbound exam, you're going to upload that certificate of completion. And when you upload that certificate of completion, you're going to have a different screen. This is my screen that shows everyone who would going to be in this course, but you're going to have your name, and it's going to give you the option to upload that assignment. But you're going to upload that certificate of completion that Peregrine is going to send you. I will take that certificate of completion, or the professor will take that certificate of completion, and they're going to develop an individualized report, course of study, and it's going to be tailored directly to you. Until you get that report, do not go buy any additional modules until that professor had the opportunity to give you back this individualized report. This is an example of what this report is going to look like. I believe this particular one required this one required 12 modules, this particular one. So we're going to tell you how many you need. We're going to tell you again, remind you, financial aid and private pay, the differences between the two. For those modules, for those other three that you're not required to complete, if you want to complete those, then you certainly can do that. That professor will review and provide you feedback. That's certainly your option, but you only want to do the ones that's going to be required. You can anticipate that many hours per week. For some of these modules, for some of these courses in general, you may have requisite knowledge already, so you may not have to spend quite as much time. For some of it, it may be brand new to you. It's the first time you've ever seen it. You may have to spend more time. So meeting your deliverables, doing work every day instead of waiting to the weekend. Great time management techniques will pay great dividends throughout your career going through the MBA program. Those who wait to try to cram everything into a weekend typically do not do as well because it's just too much work. So please do some each day, even if it's just a little. Do something of your coursework every day. So by week, it's going to be laid out which modules you have to do. I'm making a recommendation in this document because you need 12. Go ahead and purchase all 15 because you're going to get a price break. It's cheaper to buy all 15 and do your 12 than it is to buy 12 individual modules. All supplemental assignments that are non-Peregrine are going to be required to be completed. While you're waiting for that professor to develop this document. If you want to do anything while you're waiting, go start looking at these supplemental assignments, these non-Peregrine assignments. All of those have material to read typically and or videos to watch. So that's a good place to start. But until you get this document that's going to lay out what are you going to be required to complete by each week, here's week 4, here's week 5, here's week 6 and week 7 in this document. Do not go purchase any Peregrine modules until that professor has the opportunity to get that back to you. Any questions so far? Okay. So when I say supplemental assignments, or when that professor tells you supplemental assignments after we get past week number 1, this is what they're talking about. You're going to watch this I-Pencil movie in week number 2 and respond to 2 of your classmates and their deliverable dates here. So pay attention to your deliverable dates. But these assignments here are the non-Peregrine supplemental assignments that every student has to complete. And you'll see these assignments in almost every week. So if you want to work ahead while you're waiting for that report, that would be a good thing to do. So that's in essence the Moodle shell that you're going to have in Business 500. And the format will be very similar for each course that you will take, where they'll be collapsible. They'll be listed with the upfront information, the general information, the course material, the technological information, then separated out by each week's assignment. And the format should be very, very similar to that. So with that, I'm going to stop and we're going to turn it over to Miss Lee to do the other stuff. And then she and I will come back together to discuss some tips.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Sorry, I couldn't get on. I had a hard time getting on. All right, let's see what we have. Can you all see my screen? Yeah? Okay. So the first thing I want to show you is Dr. Ward was talking about the bookstore and using your financial aid. Okay. So in order to get into our bookstore, this is the UMO homepage. If you go to the academics tab and then go to the bookstore, okay, then you're going to go to textbooks and you're going to go to find textbooks. You want to change this term to UMO online. And then you just pick the classes that you need to buy textbooks for. So we're going to say business 500. Now, the way that our semesters are broken down is we have 2 7-week sessions. So your first 7 weeks is a D session. The second 7 weeks is the E session. So it says XD01 or XD02. The 01 or 02 doesn't really matter when you're ordering your textbooks. It should be the same exact textbooks for both sections. And it should actually be the same textbook for E session and E session. Okay. So I'm going to pick XD01. I also want to show you Business 620. And we'll go to XE. Okay, so once you get all the information in there, you hit Find Materials for the 2 courses. And this will show you, this is the Business 500, and these are the modules that you will be purchasing if you're using your financial aid. Okay? And like Dr. Ward said in the very beginning, you want to first purchase the inbound exam. Okay, then hold off till you get the plan of study from your instructor before you purchase any of the other materials. This is for the Business 620 course. So you need to buy this, it says required for textbooks that are required. My suggestion is you order your textbooks at least 2 weeks before classes start. I know that it will be in your syllabus when you get your syllabus, but we verify the textbooks in the bookstore are correct at the end, at the beginning of every semester. So I do not suggest people wait until the syllabus comes out. There's nothing worse than having to drop a student out of a class because they didn't get their textbooks in time. So be proactive and order the textbooks ahead of time. You can rent them, you can buy them, you can rent them digital, you can buy them digital. You can also, and I'm not saying do not use our bookstore. I am not saying that, so please don't get that impression. But you can also just take this ISBN number here, copy it, paste it. There are a lot of other places that you can rent your textbooks. Amazon, Chegg, College Book Renters. If you Google it, there's a lot of places out on the web that you can do that, and sometimes they're cheaper than our bookstore. Sometimes they're not. So I would definitely do some comparison. So once you get your books in the cart, so if I were to select this, you're going to add your items to your cart. And I'm going to view my cart. Okay, so that's when you go to the checkout button, this is going to bounce you into a screen that's going to ask you for all your personal information. So your name, your ID number, which I'm going to show you how to get your ID number, where you want the books mailed to, because they'll mail them to your house, and you fill out all that information. You hit the next button, you're going to pop up to another screen, and it's going to say, enter your credit card information here at the top of the screen, and you have to enter your credit card information in there. They will not send you any textbooks without it. But towards the bottom of the screen, there's going to be a button that says financial aid. And if you click on that financial aid button, that will charge whatever you get at the bookstore to your financial aid account. Okay? You guys have any questions about any of that? No? Okay. So I'm going to go back to the main homepage. Everything else that we do that you guys need access to is going to be up here in this blue box at My UMO. Okay, so I'm going to click on My UMO, and like Dr. Ward, oh, I didn't sign in. Up at the top, there's a sign in box. See it on the top? So if I click sign in, it's going to ask me for my information. Okay. I am not a student. I am a staff member, so I have stuff on my UMO that you guys will not see. So some of the stuff will not be applicable to you. The first thing I want to show you is this Finances tab. If you go to the Finances tab and then click down to My Financial Aid, and then you're going to go under the picture and click here to access My Financial Aid. Everybody needs to do this, whether you're using financial aid or not. Okay, you need to sign into My Financial Aid. When you sign in, it's not going to look like this. Again, I don't have financial aid, so I don't have the screen that I can show you. But when you sign in, there's going to be tabs across the top. The first tab, I believe, if they didn't change, it says FA profile. I need everybody to fill out that FA profile. Okay? The next tab will be about your awards. So if you are getting funding of any sort, you go on awards. If you go all the way down to the bottom, there'll be the amount of awards that you're being offered, and there'll be a pull-down bar that says pending. If you go down the pull-down bar, it'll say accept or decline. If you choose not to use the money that they're offering you, please go in and decline your awards. Okay, otherwise financial aid is emailing you constantly. So we can help not do that. Decline, accept, however you want to do it, but please do one of them. If you accept the award, it's going to be for that whole entire amount. But you can send me an email and say, hey, Lee, they're offering me $20,000, but I only want to use $10,000. Can you please make the adjustment? And I will forward that information off to the financial aid office, and then you can just take loans for the amount of money that you actually want to take the loan for. You don't have to accept the whole thing. Okay? You guys have any questions about that? Does anybody here use VA benefits? No? Okay. So I'm back in my UMO and I'm going to go to self-service. So I should show you first. In the finances section, if you go to online payments, under there, a lot of people ask me, how do you pay your bill? If you go to online payments, this is where you can pay. Please be aware, if you pay by debit or credit card, they are going to charge you a 2.5% convenience fee on the amount you're paying. If you pay by check, there is no additional charge. Over here in quick links, and we go to self-service. We're going to sign in. Okay. You guys will not have this faculty section, but it will say students here. If you click on view schedule, that will pop up your schedule. Sometimes if you're in fall, after we open registration for summer, you get into summer, or spring, there'll be a pull down bar on the left-hand side of the screen. If you're looking for a different session, please make sure you change that pull down bar. You are originally scheduled in your first 2 classes when you first come in. So I've already registered everybody in your first 2 classes. We have people here that are on the 12-month track. No, everybody here is 24. Okay. When spring's registration opens, we will be sending you an email with our suggested schedule for you for your next set of classes. We only have a few set rules for how you take your classes. So Business 500 is the first class you take. Business 671 is the last class that you take. And then we have Finance 640. And that has a prerequisite of Eco 600 and Accounting 610. So you cannot take the Finance 640 before you take the Eco 600 and the Accounting 610. Okay, but everything else we can move around in the program itself. We make suggestions to you based on the amount of students that we have and the amount of courses that we have to ensure that everybody gets the classes that they need. We do not have to follow our suggestions, but we ask that you take them highly into consideration because we're doing it for a reason, okay? So in order to do, when you guys go to register yourself, we're going to send you an email saying this is what we're suggesting that you take. You guys are going to go in here, you're going to go under the students, and you're going to hit find courses. And then we're going to type in the course code, we're going to say Business 620. We're going to say, it'll be, next time you guys register, it'll be spring, but we're going to say fall for now. And then you hit search. And this is what it's going to look like when you come in here. So this first class is Business 620 XD01, which is the first 7-week session. If we're suggesting you take it in D, then you're going to come and click this add button. The one below it is Business 620 XE01. That's the second 7 weeks. If that's what we're suggesting, we're going to ask you to add that. Okay, so you click the add button. Then you're going to go back over here where it says refine search. And we're going to say the other class we suggested was Business 630. Change the course code. Business 630D session, there'll be an add button. And then Business 630E session, there should be an add button there. Once you add the 2 classes in that you're going to be taking, you're going to have a box up here that says proceed to checkout or proceed to register. You're going to click on that box. The next screen is going to pop up and it's going to say you want to take Business 620 in D session and Business 630 in E session. There's going to be a next button on the bottom right hand side of your screen. You're going to click that next button. That's going to bounce you into another screen and it's going to say you want to take Business 620 in D session, Business 630 in E session. It's going to say awaiting your advisor approval on the right hand side of the screen. There is another next button and you have to push that next button. When you push the next button again, it's going to come to a screen. It's going to say you have successfully transmitted your schedule for your advisor's approval. If you do not see that screen, we do not see your classes, okay? So please make sure you hit next until you cannot hit next anymore. Once you do that, it will pop into Dr. Ward's queue. He'll be able to go in to look to see what you're getting, verify that those classes are the appropriate classes for you. He will approve your schedule and you will be all ready to go. If for some reason something is wrong, he will contact you, say, listen, I saw that you did this, but you really need to be doing this. Then we'll go through the process of changing what's in self-service. Okay? Do you have any questions about any of that? No. Okay. When we send the email, I copy, there's a document that goes with it, an attachment that's step-by-step screenshots of what you guys need to do in order to register in classes, okay? If you go to the My Profile section up here on the top, and if you click on your account information, this line right here, that's where you'll find your student ID number, okay? Go back home. If you go to Finances here, this is where you'll see your balance. This is where you'll see your statement. If you're a previous UMO student, your statement will go back to the very beginning of your time with us. Okay, so all of your time that you've been here will show up in your statement. Our statements can be very confusing. I know they can be very confusing. My request is if you have any question about your financial aid, if you have any questions about your statement, if you have any question about VA benefits, that you please contact me and let me farm that information out to who it needs to go to so that I can ensure that it was taken care of. Okay? I want to kind of be like your one-stop shop kind of person. Let me know what's going on and let me see if I can't fix it for you. Up here at this grade section is where you can find your unofficial transcript as well as your grades after your grades are posted. So your grade report will show you the grade that you have. Your unofficial transcript will be a copy of all the classes you have taken and the grades that you've received. I think that's all that I have on that. Am I forgetting anything, Dr. Ward? I don't think so. I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions for me? No? Do you all know who I am?
By the end of the semester, is that right?
Say that again.
Tuition is due at the end of the semester, or?
They ask that your tuition is paid before your classes start. If that is an issue, I'm going to ask you to please shoot me an email, tell me where you are. I will forward the information to the business office. If you have tuition reimbursement coming from your employer, please let us know that because they can make a payment plan based on that. But they will put a hold on your account if your tuition is not paid before the start of classes. That is a hard stop for us, which means you will not be able to see your grades. You will not be able to register in classes until the balance is paid. But again, the more that I know what's going on and what your plans are, the more that I can work with everybody that I work with, like all the people at the business office, financial aid office, to get those holds lifted when I need to have them lifted. But I need to go with information for them. No other questions? No? All right, Dr. Ward, that's all I have.
Okay, would you want to, let me share my screen again. You need to.
I will stop right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So getting here towards the end, we covered a lot of material. Any questions about anything we've covered up to this point? Okay. A few more things we want to bring to your attention. We want you to know that you're not on this journey alone. It may feel like you are being in an online environment, but you're not. Miss Lee is here to help you. I'm here to help you. Your professors are here to help you. When you're having difficulties, if you're having difficulties, you want to reach out to that professor as the first point of contact. I would recommend communicating early, communicate often. If something is unclear, you have a question, You would do the very same thing if it was a seated class, but you would raise your hand. Well, in the online environment, you can't raise your hand literally, but you can do it figuratively by sending the email to the professor, making sure that that professor knows what concerns you have. Using the discussion forums that are available in your Moodle shell is another way you can communicate. Form a study group, lean on each other, do chat sessions. You could either do it through Moodle, like we have here, through Zoom, and I think Zoom, you can create your own personal account. And in that Zoom account, I think it gives you a 40-minute time limit without having to purchase a upgraded license. You can use Skype, you can use Google Plus Hangouts, whatever you need to use so that you can clarify the concepts and support each other. Again, you can lean on Miss Lee and myself. Let's talk about the withdrawal criteria just for a few moments. In our program, you got to show good academic performance. And one way we do academic performance is through your engagement in the class, your attendance of the class, but equally with your GPA. At any time in the program you drop below 3.0 in the program, you're going to go on academic probation. And in that academic probation, we're going to limit you to one class per session or two classes per semester until that GPA gets back above 3.0. At any time in the program you get an F in any course, you're going to be academically separated from the program. Now you will have the option to appeal any grade and appeal reinstatement through the dean of the graduate studies or through the graduate school. But initially, any grade of F, you're going to be separated. If you get 3 C's in any courses, then we're going to evaluate that very carefully. There is a potential, depending on where you are in the program, that with 3 C's, you will not, it will not be mathematically feasible that you could get your GPA above 3.0. And in that, if that occurs, you will be academically separated from the program as well. We don't give D's in this course. Anything less than a 70 is considered an F. We don't give D's. C's is the lowest grade that we give. So keeping that GPA above 3.0 will be absolutely paramount in your academic performance. If you're struggling, if you run into difficulties, there's a whole host of resources available. Here's one of them here called quickmba.com. A lot of the stuff that you actually going to be covering in the program, you can find some supplemental material here. While you're waiting for the course to start, if it's been a while, if the quantitative courses like finance and economics and accounting makes you feel uncomfortable, this may be a good website to spend some time on while you're waiting for that course to start. Please bear this thought in mind. This particular website has some very, very strict copyrights. They will lock you out if you copy and paste their material. I've had the great opportunity to send them emails begging for forgiveness because I inadvertently did that getting ready for a class and they locked me out, but they re-allowed me to come back in after I explained what I was doing. So be mindful of that. Another good website, if it's been a while, is called khanacademy.org. And they have a lot of different, again, economics and finance. If it's been a while since you've had to do with that, if it's been a while since you have written any papers, brushing up on your grammar, basic fundamental grammar is going to be important potentially to you as well. So these are two great web sources that you could use. Again, certainly you can use Miss Lee and myself, use your professor as well as you're moving forward in this program. Ms. Lee, anything you would like to add to that?
I just want to let you guys know that one of the biggest things for me, I took all my classes online. I had a master's degree. I took it completely online. And I felt like I was out there all by myself. I really did. I know what it's like. I have a single mom, 2 kids, doing all this, working 2 jobs. I've been you, so I understand. Sometimes it's easier to reach out to me to vent than it is to vent to your instructors. And I'm not saying that you do not talk to your instructors, because my first thing I'm going to say to you when you call me is, have you contacted your instructor? But please know that I am here for you. I am here to support you. I will be your biggest advocate, and I will be your biggest cheerleader. But you need to let me know that you need something from me. Okay? So please do not ever hesitate to reach out to me, because I want to see every one of you walk across that stage at the end of this journey. That is my goal, and I will do whatever I can to help you to get there. So please know that.
Okay, we've covered a lot in a little bit over an hour. Any questions or comments that you have?
That's it.
Okay, then. We're not hearing any, so thank you so much again for attending, and welcome again to the University of Mount Olive. And as you proceed in your program, if there's anything that we can do for you, with you, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. We are both Ms. Lee and myself, very flexible in our schedules. In fact, we will typically adjust our schedules to meet you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, get us involved, get your professors involved, give them the opportunity through communicating early and often to make a different decision other than, no, I won't accept the late assignment. So the quicker you reach out to them and us, the quicker we can potentially take a bad situation and make it to a positive event for you. Looking forward to working with you, and we'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, online.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending.